time to touch our bags. It's a mail sack edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We asked you to send us some trade questions, and that's what we're going to do here on today's show. We will go over some potential trade ideas that you guys have thrown out there and react to them, including one on this guy right here. Let's see. Can I point? There he is. DK Metcalf. We'll go over what you guys had to say, react to it, and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, if you are a Seahawks fan that has been a member of the 12s for 10 years or more, like today's video. If not, if you've been a fan for less than 10 years, comment and tell me how long you've been a fan of the Seattle Seahawks. Show some love for your favorite team, and we'll get started with today's show. First question comes in from Gary Busey's Teeth. I'm tired of DK's antics. Is it time? It is time to trade him, and if so, how much could we get for him? Thanks for the question there, Gary. Gary Busey, by the way, from my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma, same town as the Tyler Lockett. When it comes to trading DK, I just don't see that happening, nor should it happen, quite frankly. I'm a big DK Metcalf fan. I think he brings a lot to this Seattle Seahawks team, brings a lot more good than bad. Look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I don't get frustrated with some of his antics and the way he carries himself and gets out of control. And I believe he has more personal foul penalties since 2019 than any other player in the National Football League. It gets ridiculous at times. And DK's got to take a chill pill. I mean, if we're going to be frank, you love what you get out of DK on the field, and he had a very good season, 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. But I can't deal with the sideshow that comes with DK. I mean, there was a great quote from Chris Collinsworth on one of the Madden games he did many years ago. And I always point to this when talking about these type of things, that football is a game of emotion, but you have to learn how to keep your emotions in check. And that's a problem for DK. And hopefully Mike Macdonald can get his attention. Pete Carroll couldn't get his attention. As far as a trade, if you did move on from him, I think it could be similar to the compensation the Eagles gave up for A.J. Brown. DK and A.J. always get compared to one another as similar players, so that's at least a first-round pick and more, but I just don't see it happening. What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks trade DK Metcalf? HY for hell yes, HN for hell no. I'm spamming hell no in the comment section myself. Let us know what you think if the Seahawks should move on from DK or not. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're talking sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got it all, folks. And the prices, they drop as the event gets closer. Maybe you decide on a whim, you know what, tonight's the night I'm going to go see the Seattle Mariners. Or tonight's the night I'm going to go see the Kraken. Whatever it may be, you can get your tickets just like that. They make it very easy for you. Here's how it works. Download Game Time. Choose the event you'll want to go to. Then check out the seat. See if that seat is for you or not. You can zoom in and get a visual of what it's going to look like. And you might stumble upon a flash sale as well. And you're checking out very easy within a matter of moments on Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Very simple to use with Game Time. And we're going to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, folks. We're going to offer you $20 off your first purchase when you use the promo code CHATSPORTS. So download Game Time today. Terms and conditions do apply. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Game Time today. Promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Tony Gonzalez with a question. Good to see you, Tony G. Do you trust Uchenna Nwosu to have a bounce-back year after the injury, or is it time to move on from him? Tony, great question on Uchenna Nwosu. I am very optimistic about Uchenna Nwosu. Uchenna Nwosu had a very good first year in Seattle a couple of years ago. Last year got banged up pretty early on and missed the rest of the season, and it was unfortunate because he's a difference maker. He was a natural fit in the previous regime under Pete Carroll and Clint Hurt there. And I think with what we've seen, the track record of what Mike Macdonald has done when it comes to pass rushers, it's been outstanding, right? I mean, the Jadeveon Clowneys, the Kyle Van Noys of the world, There's no reason to think Uchenna Nwosu won't thrive in this Seahawks defense. In fact, if he stays healthy, I think he's got a shot to have the best year of his career. So I'm not trading Uchenna Nwosu if it's up to me. I think I would ride it out with this next year. You're paying him a lot of money. He got that extension a while back. I'm a fan of Uchenna Nwosu. I think he's going to have a nice season. He and Boye Mafe are going to be a nice 1-2 punch. Should the Seahawks trade Uchenna Nwosu? What do you guys think? Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comments section. Tell us what you think. We are talking about your Seattle Seahawks each and every day on Seahawks Today as we're bringing you daily news and rumors. We got coverage leading up to the NFL Draft, which is now just less than a month away as well. This is the place you'll want to be. We're live once a week as well. Anytime the Seahawks have breaking news, we're bringing you a video as quick as we can here on the channel. If you love your Seattle Seahawks, you got to subscribe. You ain't live, you ain't subscribed to Seahawks Today. Join us on the channel and never miss a moment. Stay up to date. We have a great time here, not just all news and straightforward. We try to entertain ourselves as well. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe for free today. Kellen Moore checking in. The Boise State legend writes, what cornerback has the most potential to be traded and get something out of him? So I'll say this. It's kind of a two-part question, right? You look at the Seahawks corner room with Devin Witherspoon, of course, on there, Reek Woolen. Those are your future pieces. And Reek needs to have a bounce-back year, kind of had a sophomore slump, if you will, in 2023, specifically when it comes to tackling. He's got to do a better job at that. But there's two names I think specifically to keep in mind, Mike Jackson and Tre Brown. I don't think the Seahawks move on from Mike Jackson because he's probably just going to be here for this season anyway. But Tre Brown, it's kind of weird how the Seahawks have treated Tre Brown. We've seen him start a number of games and play really well. I go back to that Detroit Lions game this year when he had that touchdown and the interception, and that was the difference in the bowl game for the Seahawks was how well Tre Brown played in that game. So I look at Tre Brown. This is a guy that can be a starting outside corner in the National Football League. He could start for a lot of teams. And you're going to he's young enough where there's still some value in him, some potential late, day 3 value. But if teams are short at the corner spot, I could very well see them calling up the Seahawks and trying to make a deal for the former Oklahoma Sooner and try to get him to be a starting corner of sorts. I don't think he'll get traded, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility if teams get desperate when it comes to that corner spot. Tre Brown's a good corner. I'd like to see him get more involved in the Seahawks defense. Who's the player the Seahawks should trade? We've talked about a couple of the different trade ideas already today. What do you guys think? Who's a guy that Seattle should move on, try to get something out of? Weigh in, let us know what you think. Last question in the mailbag this week comes from Bo Jackson. Bo knows. Let's be honest. Dre'Mont Jones has a bad contract. The Seahawks need to dump him and move on while they can. You're not wrong on part of that. It is a bad contract. If the Seahawks had a do-over, they would not have brought in Dre'Mont Jones last offseason. He got overpaid big time and had a lack of production. Only 4.5 sacks. Didn't really come into his own and meet the expectations that were there. If you have an offer for Dre'Mont Jones that you can't refuse, if somebody comes in and is willing to take on that contract, I think you're listening to those calls. But I would like to see what Mike Macdonald can do with getting Dre'Mont Jones in this scheme, in this system, to kind of reset the tone of sorts and see if he can have a bounce-back season. I'm not completely done with Dre'Mont Jones. I think it's a little too early to give up, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. If you enjoyed today's show, you've been a Seahawks fan for 10 years or more, like the video. We would certainly appreciate it, and we thank you for joining us here on this mailbag edition of Seahawks Today.